All right, so I'm just leaving my office. I had a few coaching calls that went really, really well. And we talked about specific things that I thought would be good to go over when discussing pricing and bundles in this current student. It's in the relatively beginning phases of coaching. And today we were going over the bundles and kind of how to go about increasing average order value in your real estate photography business. And the overall theme is that you have to be very specific in the way that you're going about crafting your bundle. And I know we talked a bunch before about crafting real estate photography bundles and figuring out exactly how to price them and, the sales ladder and all that stuff. We've talked about all that before. Yes. But there's some key things that go along with creating your bundles to make it so that you can create this flow of getting people interested in actually purchasing bigger bundles from you. So in this one student, his pricing was, he had like a base bundle. It was photos, aerial photos, I think, and then he charged it was like $250 or $300 or something like that. And I was working with him to like create the website and get all the bundles squared away and actually figure out exactly what we're going to be charging. And you can have those kind of more base bundles be your budget options on your website. So when you land on your pricing and services website, it'll say, it'll have your 4 main bundles, which are the higher priced ones, and then you have to scroll down to see the lower priced bundles. And that's all well and good. People can go on your website, they can see which bundles that they want, they can click it. But in the first phone call that I had with him, it was actually still the sales call, and we had a little mini coaching session just to prove that I knew what I was talking about. And we talked about using a shopping cart with your website and then facilitating upsells and stuff like that in that regard. And I told him, I was like, I don't recommend doing that because yes, an automated shopping cart will have some form of upsell opportunity, but they're really easy to say no to. And the whole point of increasing your average order value and becoming a real estate photography business that, your clients really, really trust you and they want to continue to work with you and they give you higher and higher dollar amount shoots, you have to know exactly what you're doing and become more of a marketing concierge rather than another real estate photographer that just goes on the shoot and calls it a day, once they deliver all the photos. Like every time someone fills out an inquiry on my website, I pick up the phone and I call them immediately. So I don't have on my contact form, I have enter your name, enter the address of the property, all that stuff. But then, all the base information. But then as soon as the email comes in, I just pick up the phone and I call them almost immediately. The quicker you call after an inquiry comes in, the more likely you are to win that client. Time and time again, I'll call people 30 seconds after I receive an inquiry. Also depends on what you got going on and all that stuff. But I'll pick up the phone and I'll call them 30 seconds after I receive an inquiry and they're like, oh my God, that was so fast. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That's me. And then I ask, what's your goal with marketing this property? And that always kind of takes people, aback because they don't, most realtors are just going to say oh, I was just going to put it on the MLS and host some open houses. But sounds like this real estate photographer knows what they're talking about. So you become a marketing concierge by asking, hey, what's your goal with marketing this property? Because, on my contact form, it says what service bundle were you interested in? What package are you interested in? And let's say they picked budget bundle number 1, aerial photos, a 2D floor plan, and regular photos. That might be okay. But then when I ask them hey, what's your goal with marketing this property? Because most of my clients go with at least my full bundle number 2, my realtor bundle, or my marketing bundle, whatever you want to call it, my gold, ultra platinum, whatever. Because let's say that package includes photos, floor plan, aerial photos, a vertical highlight video, a walkthrough video, and a property video. Sorry if the camera is all shaky. I don't know if I have the stabilization turned on, and I'm driving. I'm using my FX30. Anyways. And then you can let them know hey, this is the purpose of all these services. So interior, exterior photos, yes, of course. You need that for the MLS. You need it for Zillow, all that stuff. But then a floor plan is really nice in conjunction with those, photos, because someone can look at the photos and get a rough outline, a rough idea of what the house looks like. But then the floor plan can include things like closet sizes, the overall actual layout of a property, because I've looked at just so many houses photos, and you don't always get a good idea of what the property looks like. So imagine I'm talking to you and you're my client. So I would say something like, just that, like, hey, photos do a really good job of showing the property, but they don't give a really good outline of what the property's layout is. So that's where a 2D floor plan really goes, deep. You can see, closet dimensions, you can see room dimensions, how hallways connect with this and that. It's really fantastic. It goes really, hand in hand really well with photos. But then aerial photos, with the regular photos, it's really easy to, and good enough to be like, oh yeah, this is the outside of the property. That's all well and good. But then aerial photos, I don't just take photos 50 feet up facing down to the property so you can see a bird's eye view of the property. No, I take a photo so that whoever's viewing the property can get a solid idea of what is around the property, what the location is. Is it near any metropolitan areas? Is it near grocery stores, a hospital? All these things have to be taken into consideration when shooting a house. So that's where aerial photos are a really, really good idea, because you're not just going to take 50 to 100 feet up facing down at the property. You're going to fly 400 feet up in the sky, 1,000 feet back. You're going to show the property. You're going to have an arrow pointing to it. You're going to have an arrow pointing to the mall or wherever it's nearby. So that's kind of the purpose of aerial photos. But then you have, a vertical walkthrough video, which, gives the entire layout in video form of a property, which is really, really easy for someone who wants just a bite-sized view to see if they're even interested in the property before they reach out, or before they view the entire property video, or before they go on the Zillow listing, all that stuff. And a vertical highlight video is, you might miss some things, but you'll get the overall gist of a house, again, to see if you're even interested in learning more about the property. And then the full property video you see, in horizontal format. It's a nice feature of everything that the property has to offer. And then if someone's interested after that, they go and then they look at the listing, or they schedule an open house visit, or whatever, or a viewing. And then I tell my clients, or rather the potential clients, is like, this is kind of the purpose of all these services, all these materials, is because they're all going to capture eyes from different locations. Someone might not want to just see photos. Maybe they want to see just a quick highlight walkthrough. That's how, like a quick walkthrough of the property on social media, then decide if they want to. Then that would be, the service to target that potential buyer. All these different services, because we can all agree, the more services you get done on a listing, the higher the likelihood the property is going to sell fast and for a higher dollar amount. So that, you're not going to waste your money or time by getting all these additional services. It just means that the house is going to sell faster. That's just the way it is. So if you can maneuver yourself from just a real estate photographer who, kind of just takes photos, does video, delivers it, and moves on to the next one. If you work hand in hand with your clients to be like, hey, what's your goal with marketing this property? Here's what all the marketing materials do. Is that in line with, how you want to market this property? Because also, like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, most realtors are going to be like, well, shit, I was just going to put it on the MLS and host some open houses and hope for the best. But you play into these realtors' egos by assuming that they have a plan for marketing these properties. And when that is the case, when you play into their ego and you're like, hey, I know you're a bang up realtor, what's your plan? Because I've got materials that can help you with this plan. Then they're far more likely to be like, yeah, you know what? Okay, let's give this a shot. Let's do video. Let's do, the walkthrough video, the highlight video, drone video, all this stuff, and then see what happens. And, bonus points number 2. If you get someone reaching out to you, and this is the first time you've worked with them, and they get your $850, your $950 bundle or whatever for their first one with you, they're not going to ever get anything less either. So, if you can sell the value and the purpose of getting all these materials done on their first time working with you, and then you just knock it out of the park, and they're like, wow, this stuff is incredible. And then the house sells super fast. They're going to come back to you again and again and again and again, and they're always going to get the big package. And then they might even upgrade to an even bigger package. That's the kind of mindset that you have to go through. Another mindset shift, and this is the last thing I'll touch on before I let you go, because I'm going to stop by Walmart and get my kids some Kinder Eggs because they were sad when I left today. You have to go through a mindset shift. So when I started, I just did $150 photo shoots. I was shooting flash ambient. I was editing myself. You know, I didn't even do property videos. I did aerial videos, all that stuff. But I was charged like my all-in biggest, you know, McDouble package, where it has like the Matterport, the drone photos, the drone video. And then I started doing property video. I was only charging $750, which for, you know, it sounds like a lot of money, but for, you know, hours and hours and hours and hours of work, maybe not so much. And I wasn't super efficient. But anyways, I got sick of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm worth more. I'm worth more than this. And as soon as I made the switch to like, yes, I can charge thousands of dollars per package, and then I coupled that with like, you know, truly being able to know what the materials were going to be used for, I started making more money. It doesn't matter about the area that I'm in, because when I first started, I was charging bottom of the barrel. I was charging prices that, you know, is less than you would charge in Kentucky. I don't know. So you make a mindset shift decision of, I'm going to charge more, I'm worth it. And then you back that up with really good quality materials, and then really good marketing knowledge of how these materials are going to be used. And then couple that with really good phone skills of being able to convey that value to your potential clients and your clients. I promise you, you're gonna go from making $40,000 a year as a real estate photographer to $120,000. So that's all I wanted to talk to you about today. This is like the 4th video I've made today. I'm glad that I got this car mount. I don't know if I'm sold about this because I have it like angled on the FX30. I wish I could show you, but I'm not gonna pull out my phone. So yeah. So I might do some finagling, but I like this overall idea, and I'll review the footage to see if it's too shaky. I'll figure it out. But I do like this as a little hands-free, because when I stopped making these car videos when I got this car, because it's a manual transmission car, and I was like shifting all around while holding the Pocket 3, and I was like almost dying a bunch of times. So I'm happy to be making these sort of car videos again, because I feel like they're really raw, really authentic, because clearly I don't have a script. I don't have anything that I'm like memorizing. This is just me talking. So if you enjoy these types of videos, comment down below. Property Video 101, still 50% off, like I said in the last 4 freaking videos. That's coming out soon. I just have to film the talking head stuff. I was working on my office backdrop setup thing so that I can actually have like a professional looking backdrop for these videos. I'm slowly but surely getting everything kind of squared away, because shoots have been a whole lot busier than I was expecting them to be in frickin' October of all months. I'm just back to back, which is good. And I've got new coaching students. If you're interested in the full coaching program, fill out an application. We'll set up a call, see if you're a good fit, or if I'm a good fit for you, whatever. So things have been going really, really well. I just haven't been doing so much on the YouTube front because I've been so busy with shoots and coaching. But yeah, I'm trying to film a whole lot more, so hopefully you enjoy these videos. Nice to talk to you. See you later. Goodbye.